Why Pixel 2 is my daily driver. Coming up right now, let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and in this one I want to explain to you 10 reasons why Pixel 2 is my daily driver. Now, first of all, I just want to say design is not the reason. I know a lot of people are going to come in the comment section, a lot of, Apple lovers, and a lot of people who just don't like Google in general. Maybe you're a Samsung fan, you're an LG fan, who knows? And just think this phone is flat out ugly. And I get that. I can see why a lot of people think this is ugly. When you take a look at the Pixel 2 versus the likes of Samsung, the likes of Huawei phones, even the Mate 10 Pro, for example, even the LG phones of the year, the V30, the Pixel 2 with these bigger bezels just didn't do it in design. But there's 10 reasons why this phone is mostly the phone that I keep my SIM card in now. As a reviewer, we cannot keep our phone just one phone all the time, because how else will we have the knowledge and experience to share with you what iPhone offers, what iOS offers, what Samsung offers, what, cameras offer on different phones. So when I say daily driver, it's not daily driver material like, most people who would just buy one phone and use it all year long. Me, I'm constantly switching, but 80% of the time, or not that much, about 70% of the time, which is the high majority of all my phone use, I've been using the Pixel 2 lately, and here's 10 reasons why. Okay, so the first reason on my list and why the Pixel 2 is my daily driver most of the time is lightness. Now, lightness is a big factor to me because, ever since back in the day when smartphones first came around, they were always tiny and very light, such as the older 5S, SE, these phones, super light. Even the first iPhones and even the first Android phones that were 4.3 inches, they were always very light. Then we started using our phones more and more, and they got heavier, and they started getting around 200 grams. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not super heavy or nothing like that. But when you use your phone a lot, I do, my thumb, I like to have a very light, easy to reach with one hand type of phone. Also, when you got a MacBook, when you got a camera in your book bag, when you got a bunch of stuff in your book bag, having a super light, fast, swift phone is a beautiful experience. And that's why it makes number one on my list. The Pixel 2 is a featherweight phone with a lot of power under the hood. It's one of the things I think a lot of people loved about the SE. It's so small, tiny, light, and very fast. Same applies here for the Pixel 2. It's 143 grams, which comes in a little bit lighter than even the iPhone 8, which has a smaller 4.7-inch screen. Okay, so my second reason is just fluidity and speed. No matter what you throw at the Pixel, I don't care if it's third-party applications or if it's, first-party applications, or aka the ones Google gives to you on this phone, everything you do on this phone just flies, and I mean just snaps through everything. Now, I do think that Apple's RAM management is still a little bit better than Android's. For some reason, their applications tend to just stay open in the background all the time. But the Google Pixel 2 is just extremely fast. I mean, it's like the OnePlus series. Actually, I have it right here. It's like the OnePlus series when it comes to that just super fast feeling, but you do have updates and you have a better camera on the Pixel 2. So that's the second reason. Now you can say, well, Nick, those iPhones you're using are very fast as well, which is true. But the animation speed just looks faster, and I'm just a geek for that fast, super quick, as fast as it can open type of experience. And that's what I feel like I get here with the Pixel 2. My third reason is the loud front-facing speakers. Now, I know the iPhone 10 has probably a little bit better sounding speakers on the stereo input, but I just like when they sit on the front of the phone. Now, of course, the Pixel 2 XL has a nicer bezel, which still includes these front-facing speakers. But like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not saying this is my daily driver for design. I don't think that this is the sexiest phone at all of the year, but it has a lot of good practicality and functionality. And when you listen to anything on the table, like if you put your Pixel 2 on a table and you play a video or you play music or somebody calls you, it just fires out both these speakers and it sounds fantastic. So that's the third reason why the Pixel 2 is my daily driver. The fourth reason is Google services. So even though I use a Mac computer and I use an iPad, I use iPhones, all of those computers that I do use, they do have mostly Google services on them. I like Google Keep for my note taking. I manage expenses that I have in my life with Google Sheets. I do YouTube, which is a Google service. And I use Google Allo. Actually, a lot of people don't use that, but I use Google Allo quite frequently. I don't use Google Calendar too much, but I do just like the Google services on here. They're just so snappy. They run so fast. And when you use Google services a lot, this can be key to your workflow and efficiency. So yeah, that's the fourth reason why I use the Google Pixel. And specifically, I want to talk about the Google Photos. So one killer feature about the iPhone is AirDrop. So the ability to AirDrop photos and stuff like that, really simply, well, Google Photos automatically uploads straight to the cloud. So it's kind of similar to AirDrop in that no matter what computer you go on, you just go to google.com, go to your Google Photos section, and all the photos you take on the Pixel 2 are already there when you get to your computer. And that is a fantastic feature, especially considering the amazing camera that is featured on the Pixel 2. And with that being said, my fifth major reason is that camera. Now, I know a lot of people have been praising this camera all year long, and for good reason. Now, I'm being honest with you, this is the best camera I have seen on any smartphone ever. This camera gets actually quite close to that of a real DSLR. Now, of course, it's not going to beat a DSLR just yet, but I can get almost the same quality of picture as a DSLR automatically with the Google Pixel with just one snap. So if you're the type of person who doesn't know photography that much, you don't want to learn how to do it, it's just too much to learn, you just want your camera to take amazing photos and just get it right pretty much every time, the Pixel 2 is the camera you want. Exposure's on point, detail is on point, white balance is on point. It just knows what to do. It's a very smart camera. And if I had to choose just one camera I can take out with me on a vacation or anything like that, it's the Pixel 2. The video stabilization is ridiculous as well. Now, there was an audio issue with the Pixel 2's camera, which was pretty horrible. It was mono audio, very low, but that has been fixed in the 8.1 update. So that is fixed on the Pixel devices, so you don't have to worry about that audio issue no more. Also, the HDR processing, which is kind of slow on the Pixel, has also been fixed in the update, so that should get faster over time. And this camera is based on algorithms of millions of Google Photos. It's doing some really smart stuff in the background. So the more people buy Pixels and they take pictures with Pixels, it will get better. So the camera can actually get better at detecting background and stuff like that to produce an even better image over the duration of you owning this device. And that is amazing because what you get here on an iPhone 10, for example, is pure hardware. So yeah, it could take amazing pictures, don't get me wrong, but you're limited to that hardware. This camera is not only really good with its hardware, but it's software based too. So it can improve over time, like I said, with the Google Photos. So the camera is huge for me with the Pixel. And if this didn't have a good camera, it probably wouldn't even be my daily driver. But that camera is one of the main factors why it is. Number 6 is that battery life is just so damn good on the Google Pixel 2. I mean, for this size of a phone, I was extremely impressed with the battery life. It's actually on par with the Galaxy Note 8 in my experience, if not sometimes a little bit better. And yes, that's even on the smaller Pixel 2. Now, some people are going to be, hold on, Nick, no way is it better than the Note 8. And I didn't say, I don't think it's fully always better, but it's pretty much the same. I get through the same amount of time using a Google Pixel 2 as I do with the Note 8, which is saying a lot because it's a bigger phone with a bigger, juicier battery. But the Oreo is just super optimized for this phone. They did a lot of stuff here to make this battery super long lasting. So this actually lasts longer than my iPhone 10 as well, which also has pretty solid battery life. I like the Google Pixel's battery life. That's another reason why it's my daily driver. I wish they would improve the standby time though, but in actual use, it gets me through a day quite easily, and it does support rapid charging. Now, one thing that sucks is it doesn't have the wireless charging, but I don't really care too much about that because I gotta have one or the other. If you give me wireless charging, I'm cool. But if you don't give me fast charging, but I still have wireless charging, that's fine. But if you don't have both of those, then you can't really make it a daily driver, in my opinion. Number 7 is its design. Now, I'm not talking about the looks. I don't think this phone is the best looking phone of the year. As a matter of fact, of all the phones I bought this year, this is probably one of the worst looking in terms of its just purely aesthetic designs. However, what I do like about this design is that it's practical and functional, and it doesn't feel delicate. So what I mean by that is if I throw this phone on the table, I don't care as much as I do with, say, an iPhone 10. I feel like I got to be very cautious with this phone, or else I'm going to crack it and I got to go $500 to Apple just to fix that back. Whereas the Pixel 2, I drop this on the table. I don't care quite as much, because it's just practical, functional. It's got a skin on it. There's a D brand skin, and it doesn't really bother me if it gets a nick here and there as it would on a phone like this. I mean, this is pretty, and if you get nicks on this, you're like, ah, man, come on. But with the Pixel 2, it's like, whatever. I just love this little phone. That's the 7th reason. Its design is practical and functional, but it's not the prettiest. But still, that plays a factor into my use because I'm really fast with my uploads and I do a lot of videos. So that matters for me. I don't want my phone to be getting all nicked up and scratched up. Number 8 reason is its simplicity. Now, of course, right out of the box, it was a little bit to set up. Any Android phone is always like that. I got to set up a few things, but there's no bloatware on the Pixel 2. I got Nova Launcher going here. I got the few applications that I really need to use on a daily basis, mostly my work apps and my, reading apps and stuff like that. But other than that, it's pretty simple to use. It's actually dead simple to use. You just hold down the home button, Google search, squeeze for Google search here. Let me go ahead and squeeze it really quickly. Squeeze for another Google search right there. And you could go ahead and pull down, there's your notifications. It's just very simple to use. And I think it's actually quite close to what you get with an iPhone in terms of its simplicity. As a matter of fact, if you move the icons around, it could be even more easy to use. Number 9 is the updates. No other phone like the Pixel 2 from Android is going to give you quite as frequent updates as this phone. And it's already got the 8.1. A lot of phones are still on 7.1.1 Nougat. The LG V30 is a great example. That phone shipped with Nougat when Oreo was already available. So Pixel 2 gives you that software update that you love to get all the time because it just cleans up bugs, gives you some new features. You don't get that on pretty much any other Android phone. And that's huge for me because when you're doing something like, YouTube channel, you want your phone to stay secure because you don't want people getting into your YouTube stuff and your channel and all stuff like that. You need the bugs to be squashed. You need every security bug to be safe, especially when you're doing stuff online. And my 10th reason is not really a hardware-based reason. It's basically because no one else is rocking this phone. For some reason, I like the fact that I pull out my Pixel 2 in public and nobody else has got this phone. Now, of course, it's not a looker. I'm not going to pull it out and people are going to be like, hey, what's that phone right there? But just knowing that when I go sit at a restaurant or if I go out somewhere and there's 16 people around with an iPhone, I pull this out, nobody's got this phone. I don't know. I just like that fact that I'm pulling out a phone nobody else is using. I just like that. So that's another reason. Now, a couple things I don't like about using this day to day is the headphone jack is not present. I don't think that this phone offers, extremely great screen when it comes to vibrancy like the Note 8. But overall, it gives me most of what I needed. And those are my 10 reasons why the Pixel 2 is my daily driver. Now, I do use the iPhone 10 and the Note 8. That's why these two are on the table because these are the 3 I switch between. But the Pixel 2 has been taking most of my time up when it comes to daily use. But hold on, Nick, you do Apple videos all the time. What do you mean you're using an Android phone? Well, I cover Apple because I still use Apple. I use a Mac, I use an iPad, and I like to see the software updates. I love tech. I will be covering Android Oreo if you guys would like to see that as well, but I want to get some feedback on that one first to see if it's worthy of my time. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, enjoyable, do me a favor, click that like button for me down below. And if you're new here and you enjoyed these videos, consider subscribing for more. We got t-shirts coming soon, actually still working on those, and potentially going to launch a Patreon soon. So yeah, stay tuned for that. You can visit the www.nickackermanchannel.com to reach out to me there as well. I will catch you all in the next one. Be sure to be well and peace.